Hello all. Today in this lecture we are going to have a detailed analysis of some more questions on Indian polity and constitution asked in UPSC prelims examination in last years. So let's discuss the question. The question is, the power of Supreme Court of India to decide disputes between the center and the states falls under its. Option first is advisory jurisdiction. Second option is appellate jurisdiction. Third option is original or exclusive jurisdiction. And fourth and the last option is constitutional jurisdiction. So these are the four types of jurisdiction, and it is asking the power of Supreme Court of India to decide disputes between the center and the states lies in. The answer to this question will be option C, that is original or exclusive jurisdiction. So the power of Supreme Court to decide the disputes between center and the states or center or one or more states on the one side, and center and states one or more states on the other side. All these type of disputes that are of federal in nature, Supreme Court has exclusive jurisdiction to decide these type of federal disputes. So this is called original or exclusive jurisdiction, and it has been given under Article 131. So under Article 131, states or center or one or more states can approach the Supreme Court to with their federal type of disputes or dispute with the other states or center. And other jurisdictions are under Article 143. Under Article 143, Supreme Court has advisory jurisdiction. If President of India refers any matter, it can seek advice from the Supreme Court on any matter. It can seek advice from the Supreme Court on any matter. The President of India seeks advice under Article 143 on any matter, and this advice is called, this power is of the Supreme Court is called comes under advisory jurisdiction. And whenever the Supreme Court gives any advice to the President by this presidential reference, this is called presidential reference. If President seeks any advice from the Supreme Court of India, this is called presidential reference. And to identify that any matter is presidential reference, RE, the suffix RE is used, prefix RE is used. So for example, X matter was decided by the advised by the Supreme Court to the President of India, then it will be written RE, that is RE denominates presidential reference, and President can refer any matter to Supreme Court for its advice, and the advice tendered by the Supreme Court is binding on the President, becomes binding on the President. Next is appellate jurisdiction. As we know that Supreme Court is the highest court of appeal, so all the appeals lie in the Supreme Court at the highest level, so it is highest court of appeal. And the last one is constitutional jurisdiction. Constitutional jurisdiction, as we know that Supreme Court is the final interpreter of the Constitution of India, interpreter of the Constitution, and Supreme Court is the guarantor and protector of the fundamental rights, guarantor and protector of the fundamental rights. So as a being the final interpreter of the Constitution, Supreme Court, all the matters that are related to the interpretation of the Constitution lie in Supreme Court, and these come under constitutional jurisdiction. So this was the question. The answer was original or exclusive jurisdiction. Now let's come to the next question. What is the system of government in the Panchayati Raj setup? So we know that as per the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, and originally under Article 40 of the Part 4 of Indian Constitution, these provide rural local self-government. All these three provide rural and urban local self-government. So these are called, these provide local self-government. Local self-government. And these provisions under these three are, you can say, further democratic decentralization in India. Democratic decentralization in India. Decentralization in India. And they also are the pioneer of these provisions under articles under our Constitutional Amendment Act 73rd and 74th, and also Article 40. They are the pioneer in the democracy at grassroots level. Democracy at grassroots level, that is at the level of villages, blocks and districts. So this is the thing. So the question is, what is the system of government in Panchayati Raj setup? First option is single tier structure of local self-government at the village level. Second option is two tier structure of local self-government at the village and block level. So first option is single tier structure of local self-government at the village level. Second option is two tier structure of local self-government at the village level and at the block level. Second, village and block level. Third is three tier structure of local self-government at the village, block and district level. And D is fourth tier structure of local self-government at local level. So the correct answer to this question will be option C, that is three tier structure of local self-government at village, block and district level, because there were several committees set up just after the commencement of the Constitution to provide for local self-government. Local self-government and to further democratic decentralization and provide, as I said earlier, to provide democracy at grassroots level. Democracy at grassroots level. So Balwant Rai Ji Mehta Committee, Ashok Mehta Committee and L.M. Singhvi Committee. These are the three major committees that were set up to suggest reforms in the democracy, to further democracy at grassroots level in local self-government. Based on the recommendation of these committees, in India, the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed. So, based on the recommendation of these committees, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act was passed, and this act, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act provided for 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. This provided for Panchayati Raj institutions in as a rural local self-government. Rural local self-government. We have discussed about rural local self-government in one of the last questions also, one of the previous questions also. So I am not going into great detail, but let me revise again. And they are known as Gramin Panchayati Raj. So 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 provides for Gramin Panchayati Raj. Gramin Panchayati Raj. Then there is 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. This provides for Shahri Panchayati Raj. Shahri Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj. That is urban local self-government. Local self-government. And they are in the form of urban local bodies. ULBs. And in urban local bodies we find three types of urban local bodies in urban local self-government. First, municipal corporation for big cities, municipal corporations. Then municipal councils for small cities, municipal councils. Then nagar panchayats, nagar panchayats. Or town areas, also called city councils. So these are, and combinedly these are called municipalities. Municipalities or municipal bodies. Municipal bodies. So this is in the cities. So in urban areas, 74th Constitutional Amendment Act provides for urban local bodies or urban local self-government, also known as urban local bodies, ULBs. And there are three types of urban local bodies. For large cities, there are municipal corporation. For small cities, there are municipal council. For you can say transitional areas, that is those areas that are neither a full-fledged village nor a full-fledged city, there are nagar panchayats or town areas for those. So this is the thing. Now in rural local self-government we find by 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, we find in rural local self-government, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act provides for rural local self-government in the name of Panchayati Raj, Gramin Panchayati Raj or Rural Panchayati Raj, in the form of Panchayati Raj institutions. And there are the rural local self-government is also at the three level according to the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, the model law for Panchayati Raj in rural areas. So according to the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act provides for a model law to states for rural to provide for rural local self-government governing institutions. So according to the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, in rural areas there will be three types of rural local self-government. First, at the district level, there will be Jilla Parishad or district panchayat. Then there will be at the intermediate level, at the block level, there will be panchayat samiti or block panchayat. Then at the grassroots level, that is at the village level, there will be village panchayat, and at the village level there will be a direct participation by the people in the form of Gram Sabhas. So Gram Sabha will function as main deliberative body for Gram Panchayats to provide for a rural local self-government and to provide for direct participation of the people. So Gram Sabha provides for